And most of you will remember the song Pillow Talk,
Yeah.
which was her big hit.
Absolutely. Okay.
Pillow Talk. Sylvia is who we're talking about. And a lot of folks believe that she is the originator of the commercial side of the rap industry.
She is.
And Chip said she is.
No doubt.
She put out the first song that I can remember.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there was a time that a lot of the rappers didn't want to be recorded. It was interesting. They didn't think that what they were doing was something that they wanted to let out of the underground. It was just something that was supposed to stay in Brooklyn, stay in the hood, and be done at parties, or what was called a hip-hop, which was a party. That was the name of a party. It wasn't a style of music. Well, Sylvia said, well, man, this kind of sounds different. And, the rest is history. I mean, it's a real interesting story of her driving a Buick around New Jersey, all over Teaneck and Inglewood, looking for rappers. Over a period of about 2 nights, her and her son Joey drove around in a Buick, auditioning rappers in the back seat of the car.
Wow.
Because she knew she wanted to do this type of music and try to record it. So Big Pink Hank was one of them, out of a pizza shop. Hank wasn't a good writer. Of course, illegally, that's been proven that he stole a lot of stuff. I don't mind telling you, Hank, you a thief, brother. And you know it. Come on, man.
I had to pay later
Has
on.
been proven.
But Wonder Mike and G were actually very good writers, and they actually came up with their own verses.
Wonder Mike.
And Hank never told anybody that his verses were just a little bit on the borrowed side. Just a little bar.
Just a little bar.
Tiny bit of larceny going on.
And the rest is FLY. Nothing to do with your name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So how long was how long did it take to put this all together?
It all started, and it was interesting. The total investment for the record, just to let you know, was about a little over $800. And of course, I got paid $70.
For Rapper's Delight?
Yeah.
$800.
Just $800 was the total investment. And she owned the studio, so it's not like she had to pay herself to record it.
Right.
Okay.
But overall, she went to a hip-hop in Harlem, heard it on like a Tuesday night. Her and Joey got in the car, if I remember right, around Friday that same week. And I recorded it on a Sunday. So this all basically happened for the sake of putting it together in the course of about, a week and a weekend. And then, of course, with a husband and her who actually owned the label, Joe Robinson Sr., putting this whole idea together, they actually changed the name of the record label from All Platinum, which had done a lot of old R&B hits, had changed the name to Sugar Hill, and this ended up being one of the earlier ones that had come out.
So she owned the group too. She was a producer.
She was one of the first persons to put the Kit band together, which we see now as being kind of popular. You know what I mean? Where NSYNC was a Kit band, it was just thrown together, and Boys to Men was kind of a Kit group. But they put it together in Philadelphia.
And
so,
by Kit, you mean putting parts and pieces together to make
I think this goes with that, and I think this might work. And it was one of the first ones that was done. Now, of course, like Dick Clark said, and a lot of other people have said, but I guess Dick was the first, because you have to understand it was the first rap record ever played on American Bandstand. So, on top of which would mean that we're looking at a record that had a lot of historical value, not for the sake that it was the first time that anyone had ever done rap, but it was the first time that rap had been introduced to the masses. I mean, it was the first song that a lot of people ever heard that was rap. King Tut was another one that I thought was a good record.
Yes.
But this was the first one that actually got a lot of push behind it financially. Joe and Sylvia understood the industry a lot to know that, these illegal words called payola had to happen. And, of course, you grease the palms. And, before you know it, within the first week, this record shipped 400,000 copies the first week, which was pretty much unheard of. That's still higher numbers than what we're selling now for a lot of current releases. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, amazing lady, I can tell you.
And so she had been in the industry doing her own thing
for a long time. I mean, she was an artist. She was a writer on her own. I mean, she'd written for a lot of big name acts. Matter of fact, Pillow Talk was actually initially given to Al Green, who thought it was just a little bit raunchy for Al, who was trying to preach at the same time.
After those grits, he was trying to clean it up.
Well, you got grits and preaching and Pillow Talk, and he's trying to clean it up.
Going in the wrong direction.
So that didn't work. So she decided to record it for herself. Now, the interesting thing about her and Joe, you have to understand their history in it. Not only is there was Mickey and Sylvia, which was a earlier R&B group with her and a guy, and Sylvia actually was trying to learn how to play guitar. So most people didn't know that, but she was trying. Mickey played, so it was an interesting group. And the thing is, they were a little bit ahead of Ike and Tina Turner. Where Ike a lot of times said that some of his initial ideas for doing that actually came from Mickey and Sylvia. So just a little history there for the sake of how that came about. But Joe and Joe Robinson met this lady, Vanterpool, I think is Sylvia's maiden name, Sylvia Vanterpool, and married this lady because she had some talent. But Joe is a record man. What I mean by record man is that he understood the business side of it. It wasn't even about music. So Joe actually ponied up enough money and bought the library and the rights to all of the Chess records things, which would include everything from I mean, you know,
I remember them.
I mean, it just there were so many big hits, you know, on Chess, and so owning that library gave him enough income to actually start All Platinum, and All Platinum started Sugar Hill, and of course he ended up selling Chess to MCA, and I think Sugar Hill was sold to Rhino, I do believe. And basically,
he got in, got his, and got out.
well, as much as they could. The studio mysteriously burned down in 2002 in Inglewood. I don't know why. I think there was a little insurance money, and I mean that's just my opinion. But hey,
but old buildings burn, Chip. Old buildings burn.
they do burn.
And payola doesn't exist.
It was probably in the midsummer, about like June. You know, while some guy was walking around with an oil can and gas and gasoline. He didn't mean to be there with that kerosene.
So that still
He didn't mean it.
Hey.
But that was it. But now you see Joey Jr. is actually has started. There's a split in the Sugar Hill group. So you have the Sugar Hill gang with Joey, and then you have the Sugar Hill gang with some of the original members. So Joey,
one's the review.
one is the review, which is Joey, so the lawsuits fly back and forth over who owns the rights to the name. Is it the actual guys who rapped on it, or is it Sylvia's family? So, you know, there are some legal issues that kind of point in both directions, but the actual people whose voices were heard, which ends up being kind of everything, have their own group. To be honest, Joey and Mike and Brian G, Master G, are doing pretty good. They, you know, and they've hired another rapper to take Big Hank's side, who decided to float with Joey since Joey had all the money. But I guess, you know, I'm just going to throw my opinion out. Yeah, it would help. You didn't write a rap anyway, so you may as well be with Joey, who didn't rap on anything either. Perfect.
You got to go with you got to go with,
so,
you know.
Anyway, I told the truth. Now, there it is.
Not what you heard, it's what you know.
That's what I know. Take that.
Well,
wow.
But a wonderful woman. Wonderful woman.
And she passed, last week?
29.
The 29th, wow. Definitely made a mark.
Oh, I did. Definitely. Funeral is the 11th. I wish I could make it.
I know there's going to be a lot of folks.
There'll be a lot of people up there because she basically lived her life as a recluse. Didn't really want to do interviews over the last few years. Okay. She did one MTV thing that she really didn't want to do, where it was the big teen birthdays where her grandson threw her grandson a $500,000 birthday party.
Oh my goodness!
Ridiculous.
Oh.
I just throw my kids. My kids get like a donut.
Throw them in the back seat and Chuck E. Cheese.
That's what I'm talking about. That's all I got.
Wow.
Ooh, better that happen.
Come on.
Well, we're going to give you all a taste of that Rapper's Delight right here. Creative, colorful people.
Only got $70.